This is what I miss and don't miss about having a boss. One of the first things when I think back to when I was working a full-time job, I worked in a job for about nearly 6 years. I worked as a quantity surveyor, I worked for a construction company, and it was a medium-sized company, and I'd got a very, very good position there. And obviously I spent a number of years there before I decided to set up my own business. Now, if I think about my days in that job with a boss for myself, and then my time when I first started in business, one of the biggest things that I missed about having that job is the stability of an income. Because in that job, every month, end of the month, the pay packet lands in your bank account, right? You get a salary. But then when I quit my job and I went into business, because I'd rushed the process, I didn't have that stability in income. So one month I might get a client. There might be a few months where I don't get anything, and then a month of doing really, really well, and then a month of doing okay, and then 2 months of doing absolute crap, doing shit, right? And so it's that up and down, that zigzag. And my friend said to me, he said, the highs of business are great, but the lows of business are even worse. And it's true, when business, it can zigzag so much for yourself, especially as you're growing and you haven't created that stability yet, right? Where in a job you have that predictable income, you know what you're going to get at the end of the month, you know what's going to be landing in your bank account. If you're obviously with a good company and you're with a good sized business. Whereas when you're starting in business, you haven't got all the skill set yet, you haven't got all the abilities yet to create that consistent income for yourself. It's a bit chaotic. You don't really know what you're doing, and you're trying to piece it all together and just pretend that you have some kind of idea that you know what you're doing, and you're what's called bootstrapping. You're just fixing your business as it goes, stacking things on top of each other. You're kind of just making it up as you go along, and it creates this zigzag effect. So I certainly missed that when I was in business and when I started out from my job and having that stability of income. The second thing that I miss is I love the office banter. Like, I love the team that I used to go to work with, and I could have a day where I could just feel like crap, but I knew that I could go in the office and I could be having a good laugh, we'd be joking around, taking a piss out of each other a little bit. We'd still get the work done and do what we need to do, but it was a fun environment to work in, and I was with good people, and we would have a laugh and we'd be relaxed about things. And it made you feel good as well being in that environment. It certainly helped me on days that I wasn't feeling great. But then I quit my job and suddenly I'm working at home on my own. Nobody else is around because they've all gone to work and I'm just on my own. And I found that so difficult. I found that so tough being on my own, trying to grow a business. And that's why I say to so many people, like, if you want to be in business, do it with somebody else. Don't do it on your own because it sucks, right? So find somebody else you can be in business with, that you can partner up with, because together you'll have more fun, you make more money, you help more people, and everything flows so much better. So get around other people. Now, the things that I don't miss about having a boss or having a job, one of those things is requesting holidays. So at the start of the year, they'd have a portal and we'd be given 25 days holiday, and we had to use 5 days for the Christmas period, the Christmas holidays, and then that would leave us with like 20 days left that we could allocate. And the manager I had, in fairness, he was really good. If I wanted holiday, he'd be happy and let me have it. But it was still that feeling that if I want to have holiday and I want to enjoy my life and do something, I had to get permission from somebody else to do it. And I hated that, and it didn't sit right with me. It bugged me so much. And actually one of the best things about going into business was then going, oh, I want this day off. And the only person I had to ask was myself, right? And so that's one of the joys that you can have when you start your own business and you get yourself to a position where you quit your job and you go full time with it. The other thing I don't miss is the stress and the pressure. Some tough times and some difficult times in business, and yeah, it can get stressful, but in a job it was constant. And it's not just a 9 to 5 job, right? I think everyone can relate. If you're watching this, you can probably relate. Your job isn't you find you're not just doing the hours that you're contracted to. You have to do a load of hours before just to keep up, but you have to do a load of hours after just to keep up with the workload and the pressure of things. And I found that very difficult. And I remember having sleepless nights. I'd wake up in the morning like filled with anxiety and stressed about everything that I needed to do that day. And it was horrible. And I don't miss that about a job at all. Maybe you can relate to that. The other thing that I don't miss is just being told what to do. And I got to work on some great projects and I really enjoyed them. One of the caveats to me actually causing me to leave and hand my notice in is I was told that I was no longer going to be working on those projects that I enjoyed, and I was being moved to a manager that I didn't get on with, and I was told that I was going to be working on a project that I had no idea about. I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the knowledge of that kind of project, and I didn't enjoy it. It's not something that I wanted to do, but because I was an employee, I didn't have a choice, and I was being told what I can and can't do. I was being told where I can and can't be, right? And I didn't enjoy that. And so actually when you get into your own business and you're doing it full time, you get to call the shots. That's the aim of it, is where you can be your own boss. You can say what can and can't happen. Now, you've obviously got to focus on the things that matter and you've got to do the tasks that matter, but you get to call your own shots. Another thing, I don't miss the commute. I don't miss sitting in traffic. I'm sure you don't either. A lot of people work from home now, but I enjoy in business. I come to the office now, but I can do it in my own schedule. I can miss the traffic. I can jump on the train and there's not many people on there because I can get a later time, because I haven't got a time that I've got to be strictly in for, right? And that's the joy of it, okay? And then the other thing that I don't miss, I messed that up. Oh yeah. And then the other thing that I don't miss is the office place negativity. Okay, so look, I know that I said there was a lot of banter, there was a lot of fun in the office and we had a good laugh. But also there were times where people were just, the way they are, can just be so negative about things. The very best things can happen to them in life and they can still be complaining about it, they can still be moaning about it. And there was a lot of that. And I think some people get that in their jobs and they're in environments where you're doing a shift with somebody, you're going to a work every day and you're in an office with somebody who's negative, who's moaning all the time, who's complaining, everything's wrong. And do you find that you get home at the end of your day and you feel absolutely drained? You feel drained of energy. And that's why maybe you find it so tough to find the time to then grow your own business, because you've only got that free time, but you come home from work feeling absolutely drained and devoid of energy. That's because you've been hanging around with negative, toxic people all day. And now going into business, I can be around people who are, they're fun, they're positive, they see the best in things, they are supportive, they're uplifting. They're the people that I want to be around all the time, right? And you can have it that way as well when you get into business. So look, if any of those things resonate about what I said I miss and what I don't miss, if any of that resonates, then you are probably a person that is destined to start your own business and grow your own business, right? But it just needs you to take that first step. If you'd like to learn how to do that, then obviously keep watching this content, keep watching these videos, because that's what I want to help you with, okay? So let me know in the comments, what's the one thing that you enjoy about your job and where you work right now? What's one thing that you hate about it or you don't enjoy about it? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you.